Welcome to another episode of Conversations in Wellness. And this is the first time that we're doing this actually in the space. And we have the fabulous Michelle. Yay!
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. I am in awe of all that you do.
Oh, wow.
No, for real. And to have you actually come into the space and be the first person that you actually inspired me to do that. So
I'm glad I have a purpose. I'm happy you're doing this. It's such a great space, and I know I've been here before. I've bought a couple of things here for my daughter. So congrats and kudos to you on owning this wellness space.
Let me tell you, there's some nights I lock up and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Did we really do this? So, Michelle, once upon a time, the Gleaner wrote an article about me before I left the banking world. And the headline of the article was, Natalie Murray does it all. But when I read your bio today, I said, no, they got that headline wrong.
Oh, God.
You do it all.
Wow.
You have a very full life, from purser at Air Jamaica to boss mom. How did you make that transition?
Wow. Okay, so I left Air Jamaica. No, let me just accept the narrative. Air Jamaica left me.
Okay.
When there was a transition from Air Jamaica to Caribbean Airlines, I was separated from the company. But at the time, I had a children's clothing store. That would have been 2010.
Wow.
So at that point, I kind of just went full on into my store, kid stuff. Used to do a whole bunch of other little things with the store, but all parenting and kid related. And then I actually started doing a newsletter, and the newsletter grew into a magazine, and I closed the store in 2012 and started B3 Parenting magazine.
I remember that magazine when it came out.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It is to this day possibly the most amazing publication out of the Caribbean.
Phenomenal.
Yes, I said it.
No, absolutely. Own it.
Yeah, man, it was an amazing, and not is, because we're actually coming up with another issue soon.
Oh, amazing.
Surprise. But
okay.
Yeah. So I delved into parenting, and I found when I had the store, I was better at giving advice than I was selling stuff.
Oh, giving the parenting advice.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy the sales part of it.
Okay.
But I loved helping parents.
Okay.
And that transitioned from helping parents in the store to helping them at home when they called and they needed help with the children. I've been to a hospital a couple of times during deliveries.
You're kidding!
Man, I installed more car seats than the fathers. So it was everything parenting, and then I started to put that advice, as I said, in the newsletter.
Right.
In that transition to a magazine, and
girl, your calling found you.
Yeah, it did.
And then the events where you inspire young ladies to be
and boys
okay.
and girls. I mean, there's several events across different platforms. There is Island Child Style,
right,
which is a runway show for kids, which gave them an opportunity to showcase their amazingness, but it was also an opportunity for local talent, local designers to shine on that platform. And there's Our Sons, which is a motivational event for boys.
Oh, I don't think I know of that one.
Yeah, so Our Sons,
because I'm a girl mom.
Right. But Our Sons has, each year we have hosted over 400 boys to it's motivation for boys. A lot of them are marginalized kids who need mentorship, support, that sort of thing. We've done that event 3 years now.
Wow.
There's Bold Girl. There was Children Couture Evening. I used to do reading rooms. There's a whole lot of different things for children. I love children, and I believe at the core of this nation, and I guess every nation, is a family. So once we fix our families, I think we have the potential to fix our nations. And
the family structure needs a lot of
work,
help. A lot of help.
Yeah.
So do all of these fabulous things happen under the brand Boss Mom? Is that how that came about?
Oh, okay. So no. So there are different arms. So Island Child Style and Bold, which is Bold Girl, I partner with two incredible, amazing friends, Norma Williams and Brandon Ferguson. So they are we do that one together, those two together. And the others, which would be B3 Parenting Magazine and several other magazines that have been born out of B3. Those fall under Boy Oh Boy, and then there's Boy Oh Boy, there's Boss Mom.
Boy Oh Boy was the name of the store. I knew that store.
Yes.
I didn't know that was
We were the
you.
most fabulous boutique for children.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And that store taught me a lot about business. That was my first venture into business. I had no clue what I was doing.
Right.
It's
a scary
with me
world.
still having no clue about retail. But I think I learned a lot about creativity and how to use your creativity to fuel income.
Right.
You know,
right.
And that's a journey that, as boss mom, that would have educated me on a lot of things. Still learning, still on the learning curve, but that was a lesson in some hard knocks.
Yeah.
But also just really using your creativity, fueling it, finding the right people on your journey to support you, to be the wind beneath your wings. Because
Absolutely.
that's important. That's just part of your village. We can't do this thing alone.
No, not at all.
That's
phenomenal. And you know, the reason that I wanted to have this conversation with you, I know this is a program about wellness because it's conversations in wellness, but people forget that wellness is not just about food and nutrition and exercise. We are holistic beings, and we have to fulfill our creativity, our spirituality, our relationships, our financial aspect of our life. Like, all of these things go in towards making us a holistic being, and we have to make sure that every aspect is well, you know?
Absolutely.
So when people see you, Boss Mom, B3, all of these phenomenal things that you're involved with, we see the glamour of that world, because that's what you put out, right? As a marketer, as somebody who's inspiring. But I know what goes into the back end, and I know how hectic your life must be. What does a day in your life look like? Because you look like you have it all together, but I know.
Not every day. There's some days when, let me tell you, I feel on top of the world. You know, everything is going well. There's, you know, the kids are doing what they're supposed to be doing. There's money in the bank account. You know, your investments are doing well. The guy's in the right place. All of those things are fine.
Right.
But then there's some days when that's not the case.
Yeah.
I think for me, the most important part is really just centering myself. I have a spiritual base. I believe in God. I believe I'm Christian, and I believe that my ability to trust in a being that I don't see, but I know someone is in control, it keeps me going, because sometimes I don't know how I make it through. A lot of the things that have happened in my life, especially in my business life, have happened on faith and faith alone. Nothing else. And even a case in point would be when I wanted to start the magazine, I didn't have the first clue about publishing. And when I say things fell into place, I don't want to use the word magically because I don't believe in magic. It was just divine.
Right.
My friend Dwayne Watkins, I called him and I told him this idea, and he's like, anything you need, I'm here. And that was 2012, and he's still here. Almost 10 years later, he's by my side with this. A lady walked into the store one day she was shopping, and we just started talking. She had returned from London. She had just come back to Jamaica. She had worked in publishing in London for several years, and she just told me about what she did. I'm like, I want to start this magazine. She came on board and she gave me all of the publishing assistance that I needed because I had no clue. Dwayne Watkins introduced me to Dwayne Gerardini. Things just kind of just fell into place.
Came together.
And so many things have happened that way. Just blind faith, and I believe that it will happen. I'm not sure. I'm now getting into this thing of manifesting things in your head. You think about it and you envision it, and it comes to life. So I do a bit of that, but I can't leave out the spiritual part of praying and believing and really holding on to a scripture that talks about faith is the evidence of things hoped for, but they're not seen. And I that is a huge part of my life. I believe it's going to happen. I don't have a clue how it's going to happen,
right?
But I believe it, and it does.
And then you're grateful for what does come,
absolutely,
like, all the time.
Every single time. Every single time.
I pick that up. I'm going to share with our viewers a secret that I've told you, but before you and I reconnected, because it's funny how our lives have paralleled from a distance for so long, and we met decades ago. We won't even call the number, but we met a while back. And when we re-met, we didn't really connect until, that we'd met each other back in the day. But I saw these pictures of you on Instagram a while back, and you were approaching a milestone birthday. And it was your body goals preparation for this milestone birthday, and I looked at you and I was like, this woman is a piece of woman. Like, there's no reason I can't look like this woman. Like, wow, right? And you inspired me to get back into the gym on a hardcore level, because I was there pouring my soul into my clients and then feeling guilty taking time to take care of me. Which is so often what we do as nurturers and caregivers and mothers. We pour into the people that we are helping, and we forget to take care of ourselves. So how do you find time to do all that you do and still take care of you?
So you have to make a concerted effort, and I think I would have made this decision many years ago. Some people may see it as selfish, but I'm number one.
Yeah.
And if you don't see me as your number one, then, well, if I'm going to wait on people to see me as their number one, I will never be number one.
Yeah.
And it's something I try to teach my children as well. You have to take care of yourself first. When I was a flight attendant, one of the first things that we learned in that industry is if you go on a plane, the announcement comes, ladies and gentlemen, in the event of a decompression, pull on the mask above you, blah, 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 blah. Because if you don't pull that mask down, if there's a decompression and the masks fall and you don't take it, you have, I think it's 15 seconds of useful consciousness before you pass out.
Wow.
So if you're traveling with your family and you're there putting on their mask, they're going to live, and then you pass out and you're dead.
Right.
So, and the same principle applies in every other aspect of our lives. We have to take care of ourselves first. And sometimes we forget it. Sometimes we get caught up in doing things for others, especially once you become a parent. We forget that. I remember years ago I watched a movie. It was this, I don't remember the name of it. She had a baby, and then you saw scenes of her dragging her feet around the house. Her hair became matted. She had on a stretch out t-shirt. And then she nursing the baby because she gave it. And I'm like, hell
no, right?
I ain't not doing that.
Yeah.
And I was fabulous from start.
I love it.
To finish. I'm not finished yet.
No, exactly.
No, it's
we're only halfway there.
I believe that we just have to take care of ourselves.
Absolutely. And in my coaching practice, I see a lot of people, especially women, who are so concerned about what they're going to feed their children and what they're going to do for their husband and what they're going to do for everybody else, and they're not taking time out for themselves. So.
And guess what? That's fine, That's fine. You have to, because we are obligated to a certain extent to take care of those around us.
Right.
But it should not be at the expense
of ourselves.
No.
Because when we pop down, then all the people that depend on us, they are now left.
Which is another important lesson, especially when you have children. You have to teach them how to take care of themselves.
Absolutely.
A few times I God bless, knock on wood, I don't get sick often, but a few times that, you're in bed for a day or two, my kids can function. They don't have to be coming in there and saying, Mommy, please, I know you're dying, but can you do this? No.
Yeah.
You have to give them that level of independence. So it helps you when you teach others to be independent and not to need you as much. It actually helps you.
Absolutely. How many kids do you have?
2 and 3. Okay, so
2 and 3.
I have 2 biological children.
Okay.
And almost 2 years ago, my son's friend came to live with us. So I now have 3. I have 2 teenage boys. They're both 16, and my daughter is 13 years old. So I'm in charge of 3 kids.
Okay. Wow. And as a single mom?
As a single mother. Yeah, give me an award.
Cheers. Cheers to all the single moms out there. So, as a single mom, what kind of advice would you give to other women who are finding themselves as single moms like later on in life? So we're not like the 20-year-old that just had a baby single mom. Our kids are a little bit more grown. How do you make it all work?
Am I making it work?
Are you making it work?
Okay, so one of the things I've always done, I've been very, very open with my children. So I'll tell people the story. When my son was maybe 11 or 12, his Christmas gift to me, he said, "Mommy, look at your phone." He put Tinder on my phone.
Tinder?
Yeah. I had never heard of Tinder. So he's like, "Mommy, it's a dating site." And then by the time I found out what it really was, I'm like, "Sweetheart, that's not a dating site." But he was aware that, look, Mommy needs a partner, because one of the things I've never exposed my kids to Uncle Tom and Uncle Joe and no, I don't do that. Because I see the damage that can do. So my dating life is separate from my kids. But it's important for us as women to seek that sort of part. Depends on what you want. Some people want a companion. Some people want to get married again. Some people just want to have fantastic sex. Whatever your needs are, but I believe that it's important, once we identify what it is, to kind of just know what you're going after so you don't waste time. For me at this stage, do I want to say my age? I'm mature.
Fabulous. You're fabulous. That's how old you are.
I don't want to waste any more time.
Right.
You know, I don't have any time to waste. So for me, if I meet someone, it's very easy. The filters are there. Let's check off. Okay, you want more kids? Well, you're not for me, and that's a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in someone who will move into my house. And so there's certain things that you set those. You
set your boundaries. You know what you're looking for.
Yeah, so it becomes easy. So there's a part of dating now that's actually easier than before. But there's also the reality for us that we're not spring chickens anymore. So we have to deal with it, and especially for me here in Jamaica, I think the Jamaican man is, he's challenging. He's a challenging creature because, I think we're speaking about this off camera, is that there are a lot of options out there. So when we come with our list of rules and regulations, they're like, yeah, all right, next.
Right.
And that too is fine. For me at this stage, I am looking for love again. And as are a lot of us women who are single now.
Yeah.
But it's just, oh God, Natalie, I don't even know how.
I know, it's a complicated topic to navigate.
It is.
Because there's so many facets. Like, you're not looking for another father for your children.
No,
you're looking for a companion. I mean, very soon your children will be
gone.
So you're moving into chapter 2. Yeah. You're moving into phase 2. And that's what does that want to look like for you?
I want to find a partner. No, I mean, to travel the world, to share experiences, to kind of, it's not necessarily about building at this stage, because you're okay. You've done certain things, but we have that. But you want someone, I want to be showered with amazing gifts and time and love and affection. I want that, and it's going to be reciprocated.
My love languages are all.
It will be reciprocated.
Right.
And I know the value that I bring to the table. What happens a lot now, I find that these men try to undervalue us because women are cheap. A lot of women out there come cheap.
Come easy.
They come easy. I'll never forget once this guy said to me that not forget a good woman for a meal deal and some phone credit.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's the truth.
And I had a very good looking man tell me recently that so many women are out there being wives without being a wife.
Yeah.
That why are people going to marry them?
Yeah.
You know, so I think as women we owe it to ourselves to have an appreciation and an awareness about what we want. The tricky thing is that a lot of men, some men find that intimidating. So when a man looks at you, you are tall, beautiful, successful. You don't need him financially. You come with and we think that that's attractive. We think that is, I'm not coming to him begging for somebody to do my nails and my hair. So you think this is a good thing, but it actually, what I'm learning, the more gentlemen I speak to,
use that word loosely, but
they say no. I've taken away what makes a man a man. I've now complicated it. I've now intimidated the situation. And I want to say to the women out there, I don't believe that. So I don't think we should dumb down ourselves. I don't think we should lower our expectations. Nor should we lower who we are. And if we are strong and independent, then we be strong and independent. And the person that needs a strong, independent woman will come into our space when the time is right.
And I want to believe that. I do. I mean,
so do I.
But the truth is, there are moments of weakness. I mean, there are men that I have entertained, and after a while, sometimes it wears at your self-confidence. Yeah. Especially as we age. Let me tell you something. This aging process is not an easy one.
Yeah.
Sorry, temporary lapse. But years ago, my girlfriend said to me, Michelle, you realize that we're no longer on the top shelf. We're not Grace products up on the top shelf. We're down the bottom. We're Lasco.
No.
And
we are topper than top.
And when it sank in, and I'm like, oh my God. And this was a couple of years ago. But as each year passes now, I find that you develop strengths in certain areas and then weaknesses in some. I think you get weaker in some areas. So, like, I'll wake up some mornings and it's a stretch to come. You're like, oh God, I'm coming out to the bed and there's pain. I'm like, Jesus have mercy, I've become my grandmother. And I look in the mirror and I'm like, what the hell are these lines? And I'm being very frank and honest with you. I'm like, I didn't have these lines 5 years ago. And it feels, it's scary sometimes that I'm getting older and I feel like, God, I thought when I got divorced when my daughter was 1.
Wow.
She's now 13.
Okay.
And I honestly thought, I'd give it 2 years, bam, bam, find a new guy and man. And that hasn't happened. And I am of the belief that I don't want to be alone. Many years ago, I had a friend, she developed cancer and she died. And she said to me, in her last days, we went for a walk. She used to live in my neighborhood. And we went for a walk. And she says to me, she's holding my hand and she said, Michelle, don't stay alone. Find somebody. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, okay, Mel, whatever. And we're talking. And she says, no, because she had a little dog. And she says, I can't send the dog to get water. I can't ask the dog to do anything. She had nobody else. And it was frightening for me to hear that. And for a while, I'm like, Ratted, I don't want to be alone. And that's the truth. I don't want to be alone. I don't think I know anyone who wants to be alone.
No. I'm going to tell you that when my mom passed 7 years ago, and can't even remember how long after she passed, a good while had elapsed, and my dad met a very lovely woman. Oh. Sorry, I'm getting a little overcome with emotion. But they found love in their twilight years, and he was sick, he had cancer. And there was an evening when I went into the house to visit, and he said, go check on Cheryl for me. And I went and checked on Cheryl because she had gone into the kitchen, and my dad had this thing called diverticulitis, so he couldn't eat little seeds, so he couldn't eat the seeds in tomatoes. So normally the helper would cut out all the seeds in the tomatoes and then wash the tomatoes on the inside to make sure they were gone. And I go into the kitchen and there is Cheryl hunched over the countertop cutting out the seeds out of the sandwich, and I was just like, my daddy found love again. And it made me, I know, right? It made me so happy that he had been through life with mommy, had a lovely, wonderful years of being married and whatever they went through, and then she passed, and then he was not alone, and he kept that. That's what he would say to me. He's like, Natalie, you need to find somebody. You don't need to be alone. Yeah. But I think when we run these things down, I think we need to be who we are
and allow it to happen.
Which is hard to hear.
It's not hard to, well, for me, no. Funny, I think the pandemic helped because I did not enjoy. I remember I used to go to these parties, go to whatever, French, and I'd go to the parties and I'd stand up in these parties and I'd be like, I don't want to be here. I didn't enjoy it. I don't enjoy that party life. That's not me. What I love, friends over at the house, we play kaluki, a house full of food. That's what I love.
Gotcha.
So if I happen to go to your house and I meet Mr. Charming there, wonderful. But I've never enjoyed that party scene.
Yeah.
So with COVID, I was okay. I didn't feel this massive depression or this need to get back out there. I'd never felt it. I still don't feel it.
Good.
But I do look forward to meeting the person who will be able to become a part of this incredible family unit that I already have, and so he can now come and play the games. I'll cook the food. I love those things.
Yeah.
So I'm welcome and waiting on this. You hear that? Hello.
Are you here? Are you listening?
And it's crazy. I mean, I have so many fabulous, fantabulous girlfriends who are, we're kind of all in the same boat, and it makes you wonder, what is it with these men? Where are they? Because I just don't know. It's not like I'm seeing someone who you can't get to, or no, they just don't exist.
But I think they do, and I'm wondering if this is not a business opportunity.
Well, haven't we had this conversation?
Maybe we need to, you guys can comment below if you think this is a potential business opportunity for Michelle and I to introduce fabulous successful women to fabulous successful men, so that people don't need to be alone, because it's not just women that sit around saying, boy, they want to meet a gentleman.
Funny, a friend of mine, well, not a friend, a guy I know, messaged me recently for a business, something to do with business, and then when we're talking, somehow it came out, and he started telling me that he's single, and I was shocked. I didn't know he was single. So we started talking. He's telling me that he's looking for love. I'm not interested, but he's looking for love. And I'm saying, but okay. And then I thought, there are 2 girlfriends of mine who would be a great match with him.
See?
So I'm working on it.
Okay, good.
Matchmakers. Okay, there's so many people out there who, you may know someone who would be great for me and vice versa. So I just think that we need to, be patient. One of the things I'm learning, and this is, coming from the advice of so many friends, I know I don't need him to complete me. I don't. I'm whole.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've been there. We got broke. We fixed. We're good.
Absolutely, I'm whole. But I think when 2 people come together, 2 heads are better than one. I genuinely feel that I have a lot to contribute to somebody else's life, and
vice versa.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And in terms of contributing to lives, you do so much, for the parenting community, right? So let's swing the conversation back towards parenting, because you actually have a parenting webinar coming up soon. Tell us a little bit about that.
I'm very excited. So that's going to be on Sunday the 21st of November.
My grandma's birthday.
Really? Lovely. Happy birthday to Grandma. It's expectations and answers, and it's a conversation for the health and wellness of our children.
Okay.
I have 3 guests, 3 mommy guests, and 3 expert guests. So my 3 mom guests are Candy King, who is the queen of Carnival, Tessan Chin, Jamaica's vocal darling,
right,
and Terry Correll Reed.
Oh, right.
Jamaica's most favorite person in the whole world. So those are our 3 moms, and then we have 3 doctors. Dr. Thea Nicole Davis, she's an OBGYN.
Yes.
Dr. Lisa Franklin Banton,
yes,
she's a pediatrician, and Dr. Abigail Harrison, who is also a pediatrician, but she's actually an adolescent specialist. So we're covering the gamut.
That's an amazing panel.
It's incredible.
That's an amazing panel. Yeah.
And we're covering the gamut of parenting from bump, which is when you're pregnant, to baby, which goes up to about age 11, technically, and then beyond, which is the teenage years, until we send our babies off out into the real world.
My baby turns 11 on Thursday. That means she's no longer my baby.
And so the things we're going to be talking about, even that, it's as part of the expectation. What happens when our kids transition to different stages? How do we deal with it? We're talking about empty nesting.
Yeah.
Entering just this from bump. When the baby comes, what next? There's so many questions as parents, and there's a lot of information out there. There are tons of resources. There's the internet, but I think to have people personalize the conversations with their experiences, and then we have the experts to kind of corroborate certain things and just to open our eyes to new ways of doing things. It's going to be a great conversation. It's free.
That sounds phenomenal.
Yeah. So it's just registration.
That's awesome.
And
wow, that's incredible.
Thank you. I'm really, really looking forward to it. And that's just part of one of the things that I started doing during the pandemic. It's a modern parenting series of parenting webinars, different topics, different conversations, where I help parents to live their best parenting life.
Yeah, it's so important though, because I remember when I was pregnant, oh man, I read every book. What to expect when you're expecting, how to breastfeed, how to raise your toddler. I was so prepared as a mom going in. And then it's like all of a sudden then you're like, oh, okay, so they're alive still. Right?
Yeah, by the time we get to kid number 3,
and then what ends up happening is that you all of a sudden find yourself with an adolescent, and you don't know how to navigate social media, and you don't know how to navigate the hormonal changes that come at that point, and then you are just, because we stopped the reading and the studying and the how to be,
because we thought we knew what we're doing, so we're good. And then
we were feeding them and they were alive.
They survived.
Yes.
But then bam, teenage years come and we have a son to wake up with a monster in the house.
An alien invaded my child.
Where are you? Where did this come from? But it's important that we keep a handle on each stage so that we can send these kids out whole. A lot of the damage, we're dating men who are damaged because of a lot of mistakes that would have been made in parenting. And that's, some people might want to accept it, but it's the truth.
I agree.
We damage our children's in the types of conversations that we have with them, how we relate to them, the things we do so many times. And I'm not blaming every single parent, obviously. But to me, with each generation, we should get better because our knowledge base becomes broader. Our parents did the best that they could have done with the knowledge that they had. Today, us as parents, we have a lot more at our disposal.
Yep.
So we should be making fewer mistakes.
Yeah.
The next generation should be making fewer
even
mistakes.
less mistakes.
That's the trend that's where we want to be trending.
But the whole landscape is changing, and we don't always learn from the previous generation.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't.
But for this particular moment in time, for those of you that are out there suffering the alien that invaded your child during puberty, I stand here as testimony that my daughter, the alien did invade her, and I wanted to send her back for a very long time. And when she turned 18, things started to ease off a little, and now she's 20 and she is bad. I can say she is one of the most phenomenal people that I know. And I'm not saying that because she's my daughter. I stand in awe of her.
That's awesome.
So much. So bear with it. Bear with them. There is. There is.
No, man, this parenting journey it's fantastic. But we just have to be present and be aware that each stage you think you've conquered. I mean, you go through pregnancy, and then they're in the terrible twos, and you get past it. You're like, okay, phew. And then after that, you have to potty train and whatever. Every stage comes with its challenges, but every stage also comes with its rewards.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Boy, Michelle, thank you so much for taking time out to spend with us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, man. You're so welcome. To show us that we can, that real people, because you and I we're real people, that real people can pull it together. We can live our passion, we can live a fulfilled life, and we can inspire others through our actions. So thank you so very much. This has been a great conversation.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers. And thanks for watching Conversations in Wellness.